Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered how it all began? The stars, the oceans, the mountains, even you. Everything we see, every breath we take, started somewhere. Before people, before the earth, before time itself, there was God. He has always been. No one made him. He didn't come from anywhere. He simply is. Eternal. Ever-present. Imagine absolute nothingness. No sound, no color, no shape, not even space. Just an endless void. And then, into that silence, God decided to create. With just his word, he began a story that would change everything. The universe, as we know it, was about to take shape. When he spoke, light exploded into the darkness. Brightness pierced through the emptiness, scattering shadows. It was the very first day, and for the first time, there was a rhythm, day and night. God saw the light and said, "This is good." But he didn't stop there. The next step was the sky. God spread out the heavens like a vast canopy, separating the waters above from the waters below. The atmosphere wrapped around the earth, making room for life to exist one day. That was day 2. On the third day, God called dry land to appear. The seas pulled back, and the earth pushed upward. The world that had been covered in water now had mountains, valleys, rivers, and shorelines. God looked at this raw land and decided it was ready for more. So he commanded plants, trees, flowers, and fruits to sprout across the soil. Imagine the barren earth suddenly bursting with green, forests spreading, flowers blooming, vines wrapping around rocks, seeds scattering in the wind. The land was alive. But the story of creation wasn't just about shaping the earth, it was also about filling it with meaning and order. On the 4th day, God hung the sun in the sky to govern the day, and the moon to watch over the night. He scattered stars across the heavens like diamonds on a dark canvas. These weren't just pretty lights. They were signs to mark days, seasons, and years. Time itself was set in motion. Still, the world was quiet. The seas rippled, the trees swayed, but there was no sound of life. That changed on the 5th day. God filled the oceans with fish, whales, and creatures of every size. The skies came alive with birds in flight, their songs echoing over the earth. Life was bursting forth in every corner. But it wasn't finished. The 6th day came, and with it came creatures on the land. Lions prowled. Deer leapt. Elephants stomped through the grass. Tiny ants scurried across the ground. The earth was filled with life, all moving, breathing, and thriving. Then, for the final touch, the crown of creation, God made something unique. Something in his own image. Humanity. From the dust of the ground, he shaped the first man and woman. Unlike the animals, they carried his spirit. They had the ability to think, to love, to create, and to choose. God placed them in charge of his masterpiece, giving them purpose, to care for the earth and reflect his image in everything they did. On the 7th day, God rested. Not because he was tired, but because his work was complete. The world was full, balanced, and beautiful. He looked at it all and said, "It is very good." That's the beginning, the setting of the stage for everything else that would come. Now let's slow down and really walk through these moments. The creation story isn't just about what God made, it's about why. Each day builds on the last, like chapters in a book, carefully planned, full of meaning. Think about the first day, light. God's very first creative act was to pierce the darkness. That's important. Light represents hope. It represents order coming out of chaos. It's the start of life itself. Without light, nothing could grow, nothing could exist. God was showing us something deep: wherever he speaks, darkness has to move aside. The 2nd day, the sky is stretched out. Have you ever looked up at the clouds, at a bright blue sky? Or watched a sunset turn everything gold and pink? That was God's work. He was making space, a canvas where all life could breathe and flourish. On the 3rd day, he separated land from sea. But he didn't just stop with dirt and water. He made the earth fertile, able to bring forth food and beauty. Trees heavy with fruit. Grains bending in the wind. Herbs, flowers, and plants of every kind. God was preparing a home where humanity could thrive. The 4th day might seem simple, just the sun, moon, and stars, but think about what they mean. They give rhythm. They give us mornings and evenings, summer and winter, years and decades. They are the silent clock of creation, reminding us that life has order, and time itself is a gift. By the fifth day, the stage was ready for movement and sound. The ocean swelled with fish. From tiny schools of minnows to massive whales breaching the waves, the sea was alive. The sky filled with birds, sparrows, hawks, doves, eagles, all flapping, soaring, singing. God blessed them, telling them to multiply, to fill the waters and the skies. Then came the sixth day, when land animals appeared. Imagine the earth roaring to life with movement, herds of antelope running across plains, bears lumbering in forests, insects buzzing through the air. Every kind of creature had its place. And God looked at it all and smiled. But something was still missing. Creation wasn't complete without someone to care for it, someone to carry God's image. So God made humanity. Male and female. From the very beginning, people were created with dignity and purpose. They were not just another animal. They were set apart to reflect the Creator himself. They had the ability to make choices, to build, to love, to dream. God gave them a home, a garden, and a mission, to be fruitful, to multiply, and to care for the world. They were not meant to rule as tyrants but as stewards, caretakers of a gift. And finally, on the seventh day, God rested. Not because he needed to, but to show us the value of pausing, of enjoying what has been done, of stepping back to see the goodness of creation. Nothing was accidental. Every detail had meaning. Every day built toward the climax, God creating people in his image. The creation story doesn't just tell us about the beginning of the world, it tells us about who we are and why we're here. First, it reminds us that we're not accidents. Humanity didn't just appear out of nowhere. We were carefully, lovingly designed. That means every life has value. Every person carries the image of God, young or old, rich or poor, strong or weak. Second, creation shows us God's order and care. He didn't throw the universe together randomly. He worked step by step, with patience and purpose. That's a reminder for us, too. Our lives may feel messy at times, but God works with intention. He brings light into our darkness. He brings order into our chaos. Third, it tells us about rest. In a world that never stops moving, God himself paused. He looked at his work and called it good. That's a lesson for us, to take time to breathe, to enjoy the blessings around us, to step away from constant striving and remember the goodness of life. Finally, the story of creation points us to relationship. God made people in his image so they could know him, reflect him, and live in harmony with him and each other. That's the true purpose of life, not just to survive, but to love, to create, to steward, and to walk with God. When we look around today, at sunsets, oceans, forests, or even the laughter of a child, we're seeing echoes of that first creation. It's a reminder that this world was made with love. And though the story of humanity will soon take a turn, with struggles, choices, and brokenness, the foundation was laid here. God created everything, and it was very good. So as we think about this story, let it shape how we see the world. The next time you step outside and feel the sun on your face, or hear birds singing, or see stars in the night sky, remember, they're not just there by chance. They are part of a greater design, crafted by the same God who made you. And perhaps the biggest takeaway is this: you are part of this story. From the beginning, you were in God's mind. You were created with intention, with purpose, and with love. That's the beauty of creation. It's not just a story about the past. It's an invitation to live today with hope, knowing that the same God who spoke light into the darkness can bring light into your life as well.